Hello, this is Lisa Warden with Sacred Living. I'm here with your reading for the week of March 6th through the 12th, 2022. Time seems to be a thing for me this week. So we are going to do 4 cards this time, angel cards and fairy cards, to talk about the energy of the week. And then be thinking if your angel card for the week is number 1, number 2, number 3, or number 4. So there'll be 4 angel cards to have your specific angel to ask to work with you for the course of this week. All right, so let's get started. So as I think about the energy of this week, March 6th through the 12th, I feel like it's going to be a rather intense week for some of us. And that's why my guides asked me to do 4 cards for us this week. So please give me card number 1. Angels, guides, guardians, gatekeepers. Always, 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 if a card lands on the ground, it is really important right now. Right now. So I'll get back to that when I do the whole reading card number. This is why I got in the habit of just shuffling them out before I start the video, but I felt like I needed to be on video today to do this. So always, I've been reading cards for about 20 years now for others, and forever, this is always how it's worked for me, is I just shuffle until the card I need flies out. Okay, so that's that. All right, so this week it's going to be especially important to look around for the things that are good for you versus the things that are toxic for you. So the fairy card that came out on top of the top 2 first cards is detoxification. And so every time the month comes around in cycles, especially for women as we get closer to our period, is really a time when we think about everything that we want out of our life. And so sometimes we're ready to get a divorce, we're ready to break up, we're ready to quit a job, we're ready to do all of these things, when sometimes we just need to take a step back and examine what is the pattern that we need to be rid of. And then we can open ourselves up to asking Archangel Michael to help us cut the ties with anything that is truly toxic to our mind, body, and spirit. Because sometimes we keep forcing ourselves into a job or a situation or a role in a friendship that just isn't any good for us anymore. And it isn't that we don't want friends. It isn't that we don't want a marriage. It isn't that we don't want to help people, but help me, Archangel Michael, get rid of the toxicity that hits me from whatever this situation is. And so the full moon celebration, the full moon is what made me think, because lots of times there are a lot of women whose cycle automatically goes to the full moon. More babies are born around the full moon because it has such an impact on the water in our bodies. And so that isn't the case for everybody, but for some of us, we do cycle and have our periods around the time of the full moon. Like I said, it isn't the case for everybody, but always the energy is most intense for people around the time of the full moon. That's why we see more people going to jail, more incidences of domestic violence, more inpatient psychiatric hospitalizations, because that energy is intense. So what I'm seeing is there's an intense pattern of review of this toxicity that's coming around. So ask Archangel Michael to help you cut ties with the parts that are toxic to your mind, body, and spirit. And so this calls you to really question Where do you feel safe? Who are you safe around? This isn't just who are you used to being around, who do you force yourself to go around, what do you force yourself to do? This is really, truly calling into question what is true for you. And so with the music card, you see the gold and the feathers around. You are going to be in a period of by yourself this week so that you can really examine this pattern. So there might be some time that gets shifted around. You've got more time than you plan on. You're going to be confronted with this pattern in many ways this week. And so really and truly calling into question, and this gold around her head with the scarf in this card also indicating to me that Spirit is calling you for your highest, best good and for the highest good of everyone around you. Really question, what is it that I'm doing that perhaps doesn't fit anymore? Or are there people that I have forced myself to go around that aren't any good for me? And the next series of cards is also like another layer of that. This is really looking at our friendships and really looking at whether they're good for us. Are my friends as good of friends to me as I am to them? Can I count on them? Are these relationships reciprocal? And this just isn't getting into a space where we cut ties with our friends and we just say, I'm only going to be strictly self-reliant. I can do this all myself. There needs to be a balance, because when we get so much so into I can do this all myself, that's not how we're meant to move through the world. We are born into families, we live in communities, and we're intended to have healthy communities. So one of the things that we might do is we might seek some solace of meditation time in order to really question where we've given away our personal power. That blue water is so, so bright to me in this card. And so what it's asking is, where have you given away because that's the color of your throat chakra. And so where have you given away your personal power? Where have you dimmed your ability to create so that other people are not threatened and don't move away? And this is also asking you to be active, this body movement card. It doesn't have to be drastic, this movement. I feel like a couple of yoga poses, a couple of just good stretches. Anytime you put your arms over your head or out like this, it really is healthy for your throat chakra, because your heart does the work of your hands do the work of your heart, so to speak. And anytime we're doing something, we're actually clearing throat chakra energy. So if you are busy with anything that you're doing hobby-wise, that is going to help clear that energy off. So this is asking you to really examine all the patterns of your life and what is good for you and what is toxic for you. What have you forced yourself to do as opposed to been good for you? Who have you put yourself around that is no longer a safe person or a healthy person for you to be around? And it's also asking you to do a few things in order to get that energy of your throat up and going and into inspired action, because it's our throat chakra energy that speaks our reality into being. So we have the in the beginning was the Word, and the Word was God, and the Word was with God. So our ability to create is literally what we speak into existence and what we speak over ourselves and other people. So it's important to have that chakra clear and open and doing its stuff. And so one of the ways that we can get that to regulate is by being active with doing some things that are meaningful for us. So the angels that we can help for this week, if card number 1 was your card, then Archangel Haniel is your angel to call on. Archangel Haniel, this message is saying you are extra sensitive to energies and emotions right now. Honor yourself and your true feelings. And Archangel Haniel means, her name means God's joy. And so you can call on her to have a more balanced outlook. When we only listen to the news and we only look at what's wrong in the world, we don't see all the good things. And I talk to people all the time about how the good stuff and the good people don't make the news. So look to Archangel Haniel and ask her for help to see the good in the world, if card number 1 was your angel. If card number 2 was your angel, Archangel Michael is your angel of the week. And he's saying, remember who you are. Archangel Michael, you are a powerful, loving, and creative child of God, and you are very loved. And the flame was really bright in this card. And so what I feel like that is relevant to is how our own personal flame is a beacon for the things that we attract into us. So Archangel Michael, please cut away anything in my threefold flame that keeps me from attracting my highest and best in relationships, in career, and in my friendships and relationships. Help my threefold flame to burn bright. Help me to be balanced in every way and strong. If your third card, this was funny to me, Archangel Michael came out twice. They told me specifically I had to have 4 cards today instead of 3, and Archangel Michael came out twice. So this one is speaking to having crystal clear intentions. So Archangel Michael is asking that you be clear about what you desire and focusing on it with unwavering faith. So when you have made up your mind, the things that you choose to have, I want a very secure and reciprocal friendship. I want whatever it is you choose to have. Ask Archangel Michael, this is the thing. Help me to manifest this right here. Keep your focus on here. Don't think all over the place about what it's going to be like and how many people you're going to have to sort through that isn't this way. Because what that does is it causes the energy to fluctuate, and it's almost like changing your order at the restaurant. So when you put in your order at the restaurant and you say, I'd like a 3-egg omelet, ham and cheese with onions. So then that's like sitting back and saying, boy, I hope they don't put any like sausage in there. And then it's like, well, if they're going to screw it up and put sausage in, then they're probably going to do this other thing too. And it literally messes up our order such that that frequency goes out to the universe. It finds its match and brings you back the things that you don't want. So ask Archangel Michael to cut the ties to things that you don't choose to have anymore, and to help keep your focus amplified and on your target. So if you have angel number 4, Archangel Jophiel is asking us to be mindful and clearing our space. And so sometimes when we have too much stuff around that we don't care about anymore, it really clogs our ability to move through the world peacefully, because there's too much stuff in our way in our life as well. So it's important to clear your space. So you can call on Archangel Jophiel, which is her job is to help make things beautiful. And so you can say, help me make my home beautiful. Help me to realize where the clutter is that is keeping me from my purpose in my life and in my house. And she'll help you with that. And she's also asking you to take a look at any kind of feng shui for your home. So there you have it. That's your reading for today, Sunday, March 6th through Saturday the 12th. Take good care. I hope you have a very blessed week.